I am the person that I needed when I was in the corporate.
What is one piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Never give up. Never give up. Keep going.
But how does burnout actually affect brain function and decision making for executives?
Oh my gosh, huge. The brain just can't function.
Let's, I suppose, get to the good part. Like, what are things that people can do to start addressing burnout?
I think firstly,
Welcome to CEO with Sophie, the podcast for ambitious women navigating corporate life while creating a career and life that truly lights them up. Whether you're climbing the ladder, pivoting, or redefining what success means to you, know this: you're not alone and you don't have to figure it out by yourself. If you're ready to grow, lead, and thrive, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'm Sophie, and this is CEO with me. Okay, so I have been dying for this conversation. Literally, as soon as I started the podcast, I was like, I have to speak to this person. So I am so happy to welcome a very dear friend of mine and someone who actually changed my life. They are an elite life and fitness coach working with some of the top celebrities, CEOs, and hairstylists in the world, who specializes in high performance transformation that eliminates burnout without compromising results. So, Stella, welcome.
hello.
To have you. I feel like we're going to just like talk for hours. So we'll get straight to it. So for those who don't know you, give us a little bit of an overview of who you are.
Okay, so I will try not to make this too long, but I am an amateur bodybuilder. I'm also a online and personal trainer in terms of the health and fitness space and the coaching space. And then, well, actually, if I go back a bit, I've been doing this for I think 9 years now. 9 years. 9 years. And my story is quite an interesting one. And that's why I think I love this intro, because I haven't always been a health and fitness coach. I've coached at that. I have heavily leaned on the corporate side of, companies and businesses. And I've done quite a lot of roles, and I've had, put it in a nice way, I've been stretched, I've been pushed, which is a good thing because it's taught me resilience. And that was before I got into all this health and fitness and life coaching space. So I was tied up in the corporate. I'm going to say quite clearly right now that I'm all for corporate. I'm not against it. I think it's great because without that, it wouldn't have taught me being self-employed today. Like I wouldn't be the woman I am today if I didn't do the corporate, I believe. And the roles I've had very much from account managing roles, from team manager roles, from managing roles, from head of sales roles, lining one-to-one with the director and running the business that way. And I was heavily targeted. I'd go out there, get the business appointments, bring in the leads, bring it onto the account managers. So for me, it was very much like dog eat dog world, very much. Because I started quite young, there was a lot of men within that space. And we're talking banking and we're talking energy sector. So I didn't really see many women. And I again, I want to say this quite nicely, tread on it nicely. I just felt that either they had limiting beliefs that didn't really want to kind of think that, oh, am I good enough for that role, or can I do that role? Or were they just shoved into a box and been sort of like contained there? Because when I was going up the corporate ladder and climbing up myself, so I didn't have any qualifications at that point in time. And when I was, obviously only one of me leaving school, that's about it. So, and that's what makes my story even more special. I learned everything on the job, and I done very well. But I just remember going into the office and it was like, I was sitting there with a lot of people. And it was like, it can be very daunting. And I had to learn quickly, get the voice, make stuff happen, like be very resilient, be thick skinned, even though I do believe I used a lot of my other gifts spiritually, which we'll go on to in a bit, where I would hire people on intuition, on, it's quite funny actually. Something that 50 Cent would always say, like, I can always hire someone that's gone to Harvard.
Yeah.
Right. But actually hiring someone that's got the skills intuitively is very difficult. Because where we live in a world where we've got AI and we've got a lot of like techie things going on, which is great. Again, it strings on the bows to living life, but also it can be daunting to forget who you are as a
Mhm.
person, what you can bring to your role, and not always thinking that getting somewhere, you have to either copy someone, you've got
Mhm.
to tread on someone,
Yeah.
or come with the snake vibes because you actually don't. It's like be yourself, monitor your health and wellness, and just do freaking well at what you do and overachieve, like over deliver, add
Yeah.
value. So there's
Yeah.
quite a lot of things I touched on there, but I will
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's very much Mel, very much resilience, and very much like I'm going for it and I'm just not backing down.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I mean, that's really something that we connected on when we met many years ago now. You know, you were going into that fitness journey and your coaching journey, and you had come from that corporate side of things. And we connected on that because I was in sales. You had a career in sales, and I was in that position where I was grinding. And I remember seeing you in the gym like 9 p.m. at night after I finished my job. You've been there all day. You know, we were just able to have that conversation around like, yeah, you have to grind, but there is a balance, and that probably leads us into what you're doing now and why you're doing it. So what led you to focus on like high achieving women and the burnout piece?
Oh, do you know what? It's funny because when I actually sat there and was like, actually, one, who am I? What do I
Yeah.
want to bring to the world? What impact do I want to make on women? Because I did coach before men and women. You know, I was never against coaching men, but I led to lean on coaching more women in the whole team because I just, without getting too emotional, in fact, I am the person that I needed when I was in the corporate. So, oh, felt the chills. So when I really thought about my story and thought, actually, like, not about my product or my brand, actually, who is Stella? What is she going to give to the world? And what has she gone through? Like, and when she goes through these things or what she's been through these things, what did she need? And I was burnt out. I would cry going into work. Like, I'm just going to be so vulnerable, putting my heart on the table here because it's very important. Like, I would cry and my soul was destroyed. But again, it taught me the thickness, didn't it? It taught me to be thick skinned. It taught me to, you know, buckle up, as they say. But at the same time, I didn't have that balance. I was burnt out. You know, at times there was one point actually I remember going into work and we all know our password to our laptop or our computers. There's no way we cannot know that, right? We use it every day, every minute of the day, logging on and from breaks and everything else and client meetings, and everything else. But one day I went into work and I could not remember my password
Wow.
and I had a panic attack. So my therapist at the time was like, you went through a panic attack where you just went through so much overload by managing so many people. You had
Mm,
KPIs on your back, you had renewals, you had new business, you had the strategic, board on your back. Like there was so much going on that your brain then kind of switches off. And I didn't have any rest. I didn't know what rest was. It was like, right, go in again, travel the UK, like go in again, and that means when I mean going again, it's like if it's not figures, it's managing someone. If it's not managing someone, it's, teaching, training someone up to do their role. If it's not that, it's bringing apprentices in to sit with one of my team leaders or one of my team members. So it was a constant thing. And then I was tasked with, because I was a manager, I had to then feed into other, what do we call them, departments.
yeah. Yeah.
So it didn't stop just like me and my teams. It was like
Mm,
actually office wide, there was a lot of plugs going in. So where you go, okay, I've got my to-do list. To-do list, what? You got a
what is that?
meeting to tell someone about a meeting, to tell someone about a meeting before you get something over the line about this meeting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you get pulled away and then then you're going back to your desk going, actually, what am I doing again? And then that
Hmm.
list would get bigger and bigger and bigger. So your own role was like more or less obsolete because you were doing everything else, but then you would work late night to get the stuff done and do the emails that you need to do to make sure that, again, you're over delivering and you're adding value to the teams. And then not to think that your team's therapists because they want to come and cry on you because they've
Yeah.
got life things going on. Life is life
Yeah.
for them. So it's a massive hat. So I think me being the coach I am today made me realize actually what's my story, what impact I want to bring, and why do I do what I do, and then marry it up to when I was like going through actually my brand and then my product was like, wow, like we are missing something crucial here. And that's when it was COVID time. And I was like really thinking like, I want to do more than the training and the food. Like I could do that in my sleep. Just be honest. Like I can do that in my sleep. It's not really challenging anymore because I can do it and I do it well. But and if someone says to me, "Say you don't want to do this," I'll be like, fine. We can get there. It's what we need to do. You know, that's it. Bob's your uncle. But then it was like, actually, like we are missing this life coaching part where what if a client come and they were struggling with something at work,
Hmm.
something within their business, because I
Yeah.
do have CEOs, or something, you know, in their office.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I've got all those skills that I had to, you know, think of, which is like bring a lot of people my way of thinking, get to their
Hmm.
understanding. You know, I did a lot of courses on that. And then when I did my life coaching side, it then taught me there's more to health and fitness space I can deliver and
Yeah.
bring to my clients. And actually, right now, what's rifling the most is the burnout because we still haven't able to manage that because we're still pushing, you know, we're still wanting more because we are very ambitious and resilient people and humans. But when you've got top of the food chain saying, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, you know, people are not sleeping well. That also leads to burnout. People not managing their routine, their structure, going to the gym, knowing that actually that hour,
Yeah.
you're not on your phone. You just really
Hmm.
think about yourself, your self love, and go, this is what I need. And then sometimes maybe it might be just meditation, breath work,
Yeah. Yeah.
bringing down your nervous system. Because if you keep that fight or flight mode, it'll end up doing what I did. And that was have a panic attack at work where I had it in front of everyone. And I
Yeah.
just literally went into freeze mode and I was like, and then I ran out of my company. I was like, I'm the business, like the office. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I ended up sitting outside a church crying, going, oh my God, what the hell has happened to me? Like,
Yeah.
how are we not getting help through what
Yeah.
we go through? But I had to really get to that point. And then I still worked there, still did what I did. You know, I'm still figuring out what's what. Then I still went on to banking and then more energy work and energy sectors, working for them very much commercially, business to business. And I think it was then where I was like, enough is enough. And
Mm.
then if I go back to the woman I am today, it was piecing the puzzles
Yeah.
to what we're missing in the market. And you know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes people I feel are still asleep and not
Hmm.
actually understanding what burnout is because sometimes we can glorify that. Oh, we'll just burn
Hmm.
out. Oh, okay, I'll
Yeah.
just get burnt out. It's just
Yeah.
what I do. I have to take a
Hmm.
holiday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the nervous system, the dysfunction of the brain and what it can do
Hmm.
long term, longevity is actually quite frightening.
Okay, well, we're going to definitely dive into that because, yeah, I think it's so relevant. And I completely agree. I think when I met you, I was probably in that phase where I was like burning the candle both ends, trying to get in my fitness and trying to, build a business at the time. And yeah, it was difficult. And for me, I think having a coach, whether it's a fitness coach, a life coach, has really helped me come into my own and actually figure out, and I'm not going to say a balance because I don't know if that's the right term, but I think
Mm.
figure out how to not always be in fight and flight mode. I think that's important, especially with my nervous system. Honestly, it was crazy. I used to have headaches like all the time. I used to have vertigo as well. I
Yes,
used to
I've had
literally
that.
wake up, my head was spinning. And since I've kind of really focused on my well being, not just fitness and health, but my actual well-being, that's gone, which
Yeah.
is amazing. So let's dive into that. And actually a question I have for you before we get into, I suppose, the burnout piece is really around like working with incredibly successful women. I mean people at the top of their game, CEO, founders, executives. What are they struggling with that might actually surprise our audience?
Oh my gosh, so much actually, because quite a lot. Uh, and you're looking at people management,
Mm,
you're looking at staff because I talk like I'm old, but gone the days where we didn't have this social, didn't even have
yeah,
Instagram like that. But
yeah,
you've got a lot of people in the workforce thinking that less work is okay.
yeah,
Just doing the minimum, like, you know, clock in, clock out. I'm not, again, I'm not against that. If you want to do that and just get paid, again, that's totally what your vision is. You're happy with that. You just want to get the bills paid. You want to have your house. That's it. Totally fine with that. But I just think you've got the workforce not really pushing at all. You've got, people coming up where they are heavily relying on AI to do most of
Yep.
their work as well.
Yeah.
So there's no connection. There's
Yeah.
very much, what's that word, where you're isolated.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not much
Yeah.
community. We wouldn't even allowed our phones on the
Yeah.
floor.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be in the lockers. It wasn't even there. Whereas now it's like, oh, it can be there because everyone's just trying to compromise. Okay, this is what the era we're in. So for them to at least do some work, then we can give them something in return. And then you've got the top performers performing like there's no tomorrow and trying to help the underperformers, but the underperformers not really getting coached the way they should be.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
just seeing that by just having conversations and people just getting away with doing the basics.
Yeah. Agree.
And
Agree.
then managers not being able to manage that
Yeah.
because they don't know
Yeah.
what line to tread on nowadays.
Yeah.
The things get
Yeah.
recorded, things get note takes. You got, people spend more time proving why what they were wrong was should be right than actually just doing the work and
Yeah.
getting it done.
Completely agree.
We've got like cameras, we've got people going on like Instagram, oh, this will happen at work today. We've got people doing day in a life of corporate. I remember that was not even a thing. I could not even film and have my,
Yeah.
day in the life on. And again, it's great to see, but when you have that as part of your content, it's like how much hours are you given to that than the work that you should be doing. It's just, you've got a lot of people focusing sometimes on the wrong thing, not necessarily the right thing. And that's like getting the job
Agree.
done. So there's that. There's ignoring the burnout signs
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then not having the support to manage that in-house therapy, because again, that's a lot of money. And funny enough, Stephen Bartlett put on his podcast the other week that ChatGPT are now used as the number one therapist, like a therapist in your pocket.
Stop. Wow. Should I use it? Do I need to start using it for that?
Seriously, like it is a thing.
Wow. Yeah. But I think people are so reliant on, the technology we have nowadays. And like you say, back in our day,
Yeah.
and we're not even that old, but it was just different. You just hustled and you had to
Yeah.
grind. That was the only way for you to progress. And I think that's what's changing. And I actually listened to something the other day where it is changing in terms of that grind and that hustle. Yes, that does get you further, but there's so many other things out there now that people are doing that's pushing them further that we would never have thought of. We just thought, okay, let's hustle when we were younger. That's going to get us to where we are. And that has made us successful. But then nowadays, like people, like you can say, can do the basics, they can do the bare minimum and still progress within the career. And it's like, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a whole different ways of working
Yeah.
these days. So the scope is huge in terms of,
Navigating
what's
that.
actually going on.
Yeah.
And it is shocking actually, because I think a lot of people are even scared to like, voice when someone isn't doing the right, whether it's meeting their KPIs or,
Yeah.
putting them in the office and having that conversation, confrontation. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people don't do that. But it's my job, like, this is how I was like in the office now. We got words. So
I can
when they
imagine
saw
that.
my heels and they heard me coming, it was like, "Oh, crap." Like, she's coming, and I'm gonna be put in another room, and we're gonna have a conversation.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is literally how, it was trying to create that fair community across the board and not seeing people just progress doing the basics, because then the top performers feel like they've been let down, and that's
Yeah.
not how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. And I think it's so relevant nowadays. That's so hard though. It's such a hard thing to manage nowadays.
It is.
People want to like avoid confrontation, I think. I mean, sometimes I do, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I think it's really important. And that's the only way you can progress and you can grow. I mean, I remember managers that I had, like, they were on me, like, make it happen.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going through a little bit more of a softer era. But
Yeah.
on that, and let's talk about burnout now, because obviously this is the key conversation here.
Mhm.
But how does burnout actually affect brain function and decision making for executives?
Oh my gosh, huge. You've got the brain just can't function. And you normally you'd wake up and say if you in the ideal world, you would just get ready normally and you'll get ideas drop into your head. And you're like, oh, I could do that, or I could do that strategy, or I could implement that, or I could get on and do that. But if you've got burnt out, you're numb.
Mm,
You cannot function. You can't even think. It's like people would say to me, I can't even do the normal tasks of me
mm,
just doing the work thing, whether it could be where they get so frustrated that they're trying to do it, but they just can't move forward,
yeah,
or they just can't be creative anymore and think of a strategy to propel the business forward, or they
yeah,
just get numb.
yeah,
Or what will happen is they overthink, and then when they overthink what the task needs to be, they're not doing it. So what's the word? Paralysis or analysis type view of,
yeah,
how they do things, and they're just
yeah,
stuck on the same thing, and a week's gone, and then your CEO's on your back going, "Okay, guys,
yeah. What's going on?
what's going on?" And that can be very difficult to manage. Whereas
Yeah,
if we was to bring in things like, tapping, things that's gonna do breath work, meditation, training. And also I would go even a little bit step further and go, where has this come from? Because what's going on is it's a reoccurring pattern that people are not going to the source of why they're burnt out and
yeah,
what started it. Because if you knew what started it and was able to get to that root of cause, then before it's about to happen, you can see it and go, no, 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 no.
yeah, yeah,
We need to, there's tools and strategies to overcome it, but then we need to get to that part, then not let it be a repeated thing again, because the universe
mm,
will go, you haven't learned.
yeah,
We're going to go and bring you what burns you out again.
yeah,
And then we're that hamster on the hamster wheel, aren't we?
yeah. Curious though, how do you tell the difference between normal stress and actually being burnout?
Well, normal stress can, if your cortisol levels are high and you're in shock mode, depending on what the actual trigger is, can actually be the same. You know what I mean? So you've got, sometimes it can be where stress can be too much that can get to burnt out, right? But some you may not get as much close to it that you could just manage that. And then you won't feel like you need to go on holiday just to relax, or you won't feel like you need to, do all of this work because right, okay, in a minute of the here and now, I got to be present. I just got to manage my stress levels. But I think there is a bit where you could overspill, is what I'm saying, go straight into the burnout if you prolong the stress levels. Because you must see it, like there's times even myself when I was in the corporate and I was so stressed. I didn't deal with
Yeah,
that. And I kept
yeah,
going, I kept going, I kept going. And then I was like, okay, like I was tired.
yeah,
My
yeah,
sleep was falling apart. I couldn't function. I couldn't think. I couldn't eat.
yeah,
And then from that, it caused a greater part, and that's leaning into that burnout. And that's where that's what we've been living in for so many
mm,
years now. And the good thing is if you think about social media and therapists and life coaches now, we're talking about a lot more. So like I remember we would never go nervous system. We're like, what the hell's that? Like only now we can
yeah,
say it and be quite comfortable knowing what that is.
mm,
Whereas before that wasn't even a topic.
yeah,
Like, how do you manage your nervous system? Like, what do you feel? Like, what is your nervous system? Like, when it goes up the swanny, how can you go, okay, it's happening now. I need to
yeah,
go and do something to help. And
yeah,
even I get it myself sometimes. I have to watch myself because I'm a high performer. I'm getting ready for a show. So I'm doing my cardio, I'm doing my steps. I've lost 9 kgs and
yeah,
woohoo. But at the same time, it's like sit down and start my online work, and it's like, whoa.
yeah,
And I've got my to-do list, which is like 21 things that I've got to action. Then I've got to go, right, I need to just meditate for a minute and just come present with myself and get in my high conscious state and the consciousness to enable me to like calm down a little bit, because I'm taking myself through, maybe not so much corporate way, but my body is still stressed with all the things that I'm getting done.
yeah,
And then I've
yeah,
got a full day at home with work, with check-ins,
yeah,
content. It's still the same thing. That's why people say, how do you do what you do in your day? And it's like, to be fair, corporate taught me that.
yeah, yeah,
I'll just now go for a nap. Or I'm being serious. I'm like, right, I need my nap. 20 minutes, done, dusted. I can then get so much work done when I finish. Or my
wow,
meditation, or
yeah,
my gratitude, or I'd be like, right, I need to get myself out there and walk.
yeah,
Because
mhm,
sometimes to me,
yeah,
meditation could be just walking my dog or just walking outside in the
yeah,
park, fresh air, nature. I do believe that with the nervous system and doing the tools and strategies to help you, you've got to find out what works for you.
yeah, yeah,
And that's
yeah,
the stuff and the work that I do with my clients. Like, okay, we need to understand what's working for you. And what causes burnout too, and the stress
yeah,
element is also the outside influences. So what's going on in your home
Mm.
life?
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
just talking about what's in the working force. But if you just split up your partner or someone's just passed away
Mhm.
or, your dog or your pet's not well or,
Yeah.
you're going through a financial part where you want to get a pay rise and you're not and you're trying to pay your bills, like that's also stress that you're
Yeah.
bringing into the workforce. And I remember back in the day, I'd be like, you got to fake it till you make it. Where it's like,
Yeah. There's nothing going on at home. You're absolutely fine. Come in, head
right.
down. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like another mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then you go home and cry. Yeah. Mhm.
Literally that. I remember one of my staff, bless his cotton socks, was like, "Stella, like you must have had the best upbringing because you're always so happy." And I was like, "Actually, no, that's not the case. I'm at the worst." But I just choose not to bring in my
Yeah.
funk and
Yeah. Yeah.
what's happening in the outside world into the office
Mm.
because it's not fair. Like I've got a job.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
professional, manager. And again, that also weighs its toll because that's draining.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you get drained and you feel that heaviness on your shoulders and it's a burden and
Mm.
then you feel that emotion, that also leads to the stress and the burnout and pushing that barrier towards
Yeah.
it. So there's a lot of things, but I feel that, yeah, stress can push into it or you can just get after burnout and then you're just
Yeah.
gone. You just need to go,
Yeah.
right. And then you find, which you almost know this as well, people get signed off work.
Yeah.
That was the biggest indicator. I remember my staff be like, you know what, either I've got to resign, they resigned, or I need to doctor's note, two
Yeah.
weeks, I can't do it. I check out.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can we do before that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think for me, the main thing that gets me, I suppose, stressed and like touch wood, I think burnout. I've got to a stage where I'm doing all the things you tell me to do, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But that has got me so I don't get to the point of burnout much anymore.
Yeah,
But the stress piece for me is like when I've got like a massive to-do list in my personal life and in my work life. When I'm like, I have to do 101 things and I'm just constantly going from like 6 a.m. until like 10 p.m. That gets me. So I really like quiet time and weekends sometimes, not that I don't do anything, like I'll gym and I'll, look after myself. But sometimes I just want to have a really chilled weekend and do these little things and potter about and go for walks and all these little things. That's really, I suppose, helped me. It's just taking a bit of time to kind of step back and not have things to do.
yes, yes. Because that's a really important thing you just said there. Because what that creates is, and I was really bad at this, I would jam pack my weekends
Yeah,
or jam pack holidays. Got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do that. And what happened was the outside world of doing stuff, and then also in the inside world. So
yeah,
again, corporate, wherever I was,
yeah.
um, I felt that I didn't want to be at home doing nothing where I'm left with my
Yeah.
thoughts.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I realized having therapy and having a life coach myself that when I was like, I've got to keep busy, I've got to keep busy. I didn't wanna actually sit with my thoughts and go, "Actually, who is Stella?
Yeah.
Who's she becoming? Like, what's going on? Why does she always wanna keep busy?" Because sometimes you are running away with something internally that you don't realize,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
felt guilty for just laying there and resting, and I was like and I literally had to speak to my therapist, I was like, "Why am I feeling guilty for laying down and resting on a Saturday?
Yeah.
My
Hmm.
work's done for the week." Let
Yeah.
alone dreading on a Sunday night, "Oh my god, like 5 hours till I gotta get back in the office again." Like, if you think about it, I was just filling my diary because I didn't wanna face what was going on, and I think that's another thing that we don't really talk about enough, and I've had to get a lot of work on that.
Yeah.
And then the last couple of weeks in, I was all right, okay, this weekend, I just literally got to sit here and do nothing and force myself, whether it's
Mm.
reading a book or hearing a podcast, watching a podcast, going on YouTube, just trying to not doom scroll,
Yeah.
because a lot of my stuff is online and it's very easy on a Saturday. Like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 hours have gone. And it's like, what have you even watched this whole time? Or when you get
Yeah.
up and the first thing you do is you grab your phone and you're like, and Mel Robbins always says this. I have to remind myself, why are you letting all these people in your room? And I was like, oh wow. And she's like, why are you then letting them dictate your mood? Because then you start comparing, thief of
Yeah.
joy.
Yeah.
started going the lifestyle because obviously the highlight reel, really Instagram. And that's why I try, even on my socials, put real vulnerable things about me, stuff that people won't really
Mm,
want to talk about. Because I just feel that when you open up, to that part of you, you are authentic and you do
yeah.
do the inner work where you don't feel like you got to run away and not rest. And always
Mhm.
think I've got to be on the goal because I don't want to sit there in silence and do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I used to feel guilty. I'm not gonna lie. I used
Yeah.
to sit there and go, "Why am I sitting here? I could
Yeah,
be
same.
answering an email and it's a Saturday or Sunday."
Yeah, I was exactly the same. I mean, to be fair, I still am on, like, my emails 24/7, but I'm not as bad now. Like, before I would really struggle to sit there and just do nothing. Would never have a lazy day. I did not even know what that was.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't have, like, crazy lazy days. Lazy days for me is, like, going to the gym and getting a facial. But, like, I really struggled with that as well, and it was only when I started doing the inner work. So I did a lot within COVID, and that's obviously we met before that, and I worked with myself then. And then I had a life coach and kind of like a therapist when I moved to the US, just because of all the challenges like I went through and all of the life changes. And that helped me actually go back in my past and realize, like, why am I doing all these things? Like, what's going on within my brain, basically. So, yeah, I think that was, like, for me, a lifesaver because I wouldn't be, I think, where I am and as content
Yes.
if I didn't, like, actually do that work. So, let's, I suppose, get to the good part. Like, what are things that people can do to start addressing burnout, like, before we even get to burnout? Like, what can we be doing?
I think firstly, there's so many tools, but we need to understand what is suitable for you. Because I could say go
Mm,
and meditate. I could say do some tapping. I could say,
mm,
sit with yourself and understand and go through the source of what is going on. So what's happening, write the list of what's going on the inside, work and what's going on the outside. And then also think about how you're approaching tasks and projects and think about what support you can get. So there's a lot of conversations I'll have with my clients that are like, let's actually get the support from work. Or
mhm,
it could be let's structure your day. Because if there's when you will know, and I've got through this before, whereas if I haven't got a to-do list, I know it sounds silly, I don't feel like I'm productive. So it could just be like when you get burnout or close to, again, you start switching down to doing things. So you may not even, your life may just be chaotic. So it'll be let's review what your life is doing now and what's going on now. And also let's review what's going to be, let's try things that are going to be suitable for you. Could it be tapping? And with the tapping, it's, go and tapping on the midline points. And that's really, getting the flow through your body and really you instilling what the problem is and
mhm,
then overcoming it with sentences that's going to bring your nervous system down and then really bring the energy around your body. I mean, there's times I do it with my client and they were like, oh my gosh, we feel like, ooh, spaced out sort of thing because it does so much to your nervous system and your energies inside your actual body and the meridian points touching on them. So that's another thing. Breath work.
mm,
Breath work is just something, if you could even go onto YouTube and half, like you don't even need to think you've got to know the ins and outs of it. And I think that's some of the issue that we have today. It's like if I want to learn something, I want to learn it from the beginning to end. When actually we could just be going, "This is how I feel right now. Let me just go onto YouTube. Let's go onto
mm,
breath work, and then just whack it up." I think we feel like we've got to know everything before we do something,
yeah,
but we have
yeah,
so much access to us. We should really go right. Let's just start now.
yeah,
If I'm feeling overwhelmed now, you could type into ChatGPT, I feel overwhelmed. What could I do? Three things. And I guarantee it's going to say breath work, meditation, go for a walk, journal. There's even some clients that I've done past life regression and gone through subconscious mind work. And with that, that's just crazy because these people have actually been in corporate and these are like climbing the ladder as we speak. And when I've done that sort of work on them, it always goes back to them getting burnt out and more in the day to day.
mm,
They don't see their way
yeah,
out, whether it's colleague conflict,
mhm,
whether it's someone not being nice to them, whether it's their
yeah,
manager not being great, whether it's, relying like them doing all the work and their colleague next to them, their right hand man isn't doing enough and pulling the weight.
mm,
So it's even that we haven't even touched upon. And then you've got where they've got meetings that they'll go into, and you'll see the manager doing digs, like, not
Yeah.
I mean, just digs. And it's like, where's that come from? And then everyone else on the call can see, like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah,
that's them back.
yeah, yeah.
And then when they're at home, they can't sleep. They can't
Mm,
function, like, stuff like
mm,
that. Like, and they are real high performing women. But some of the women above them don't want to see them shine
yeah.
or take their credit, take their presentation and go, I did that. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And if they speak up, they feel that they're going to get judged. Or if they
Mhm.
go to another manager, they feel like that manager's going to, actually stick up for the manager that they're working in line with and be like, oh, why are you going above me? And it's like, well, where they're meant to go.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic here. Like, what can they get help with? So even stuff like that, when I've done like past life regression, subconscious mind work, a
Mm.
lot of it is internal. So how your mind is processing how people are
Yeah,
treating you as well.
yeah.
And that
That is
can
a big
really,
one. Yeah, that was me. That was, like, my, like, little golden nugget when I was, like, doing the inner work, and even now is, like, everyone has a perception, and you can't change that perception, and people will say things, but you in your mind have to be like, "That's their opinion,
yes.
and it's not you."
Yeah.
And you can't take everything personally. Quite good now at, like, if someone says something, give me a day and I'll be over it, because
Mhm.
I'm not going to let it dwell on me and I'm not going to overthink it. I used to get really like uptight around if I disappointed someone, if I did something wrong, and I would get scared and like sometimes even cry and just like not feel good enough. But then I just kept reminding myself that it's their perception, it's their
Yeah.
thoughts, it's not mine, and let anything go that they say, unless obviously, they're giving you a pointer around work, like, for improvement,
Yeah.
just try not to take things personally and just be like, "Business is business. This is what we have to do. Understand it. Cool. Move on. Take on board what you need to take on, but don't, like, overthink it because that will really get to you."
Yeah. 100%. And I've even had other
Mm.
clients, where I've trained them. And actually, I had one client, she came running into the gym after her session and she was like, my manager's actually bullying me.
Oh god. Yeah.
And it was so sad. And do you know what? The fact that she came in to me, because
Mm.
also her trainer, and I'd obviously, life coach and all that, I had it under my belt and past life regression work and all those bits I'd done. So she had that there and then and ran into the gym and was like, Stella, this is what's happening. I just feel safe with you. I need to speak to you about this. And I turned around and I literally was like, what the? And then we went into the room and then I was like,
Yeah.
right, this is what you're going to do now. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And there's tools and strategies, and then there's having a life coach that you can literally like call real time or come and see and be like, right, what can I do? So I can't think straight right now.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I'm now, it's gone to a point where more work is pushing on me and they're bullying me with it and taking my
Yeah.
work. And that when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, bless you. And she was in tears and she was only
Yeah.
felt safe telling me, and I was able to help her and see her through it. Now she's like got a better job, like better
Yeah.
department, like she's
Mhm.
growing. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
another lady as well, like, I was training her and she went on to do a scholarship. She went and
Yeah.
I told her, apply for the scholarship, like get into studies and do this and do that. And obviously not going into it because her bits and pieces, but we were like, do this and do that. And then I used to look at a cover note and go, right,
Yeah.
let's change these bits and pieces, do suggestions of what's going to help her with what she's got and who she is. And then so she's done the scholarship, she qualified, and she's literally got a better job, better salary, and she did not have a voice, and now she's got a voice. And to this day, she messaged me and goes, thank you very much for everything you've done because what you've
Yeah.
done is you changed my life.
Yeah, I love that. Sometimes you just need that support system, don't you? Or just someone to be in your corner and back you.
Yeah,
So,
so you've got the tools, the strategies for it, but then you've got that one-on-one, like, actually, I need this right now because I'm
yeah,
going through this.
yeah,
And the only thing that I'm going to like help me to get through it is having that support and then bouncing off ideas of what I could do because sometimes it's numbing when you've got all this going on
yeah.
in the bullying, you've got you undermining, you've got taking the workload and then
Mm,
bringing on more workload. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just It's just a lot
Yeah.
for one person to manage. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And you've said, I mean, obviously we speak all the time, but you said that traditional leadership development fails women. Obviously that's quite a strong statement. So talk me through that. What do you mean by that?
well, when it comes to leadership roles, it's just, if I'm being honest, I don't think we've been given the chance.
Yeah.
And we've got so many wonderful, ambitious women that are just boss women that will just do the most to get where they want to be. And some just do it because they're passionate about their job. I remember I would go into a one-to-one appraisal review and I did everything you could think of. And it was like, yes, I get the procedure. We can't get the pot to you and all of you. We can't give the highest sometimes. You can just literally scrim the second grade. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, whatever that grade was, I can't remember what the procedure was, but like 3 grades or whatever it was, or
Mm.
5, and I got the middle one. And I was like, "No, actually, I should have got the top performer one because
Yeah.
I did everything I needed to do." And I got fed back that in my review. So
Mm.
when I got given that grade, I contested it and I was like, I looked at my manager and I was like, "Are you actually kidding me? Are you kidding me? You give me this grade? We just had a
Yeah.
one-to-one meeting and that's not what you were saying. So make that make sense." And her
Mm.
reply was, "Well, we've got to meet the standard bracket and not
Yeah.
give everyone the pot, and you've got to make sure that the pot is fair and distributed in other departments."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
felt really let down. And, if I kept getting that grade, what's the next part? Being on the strategic board. So again, I felt that myself. I felt let down
Yeah.
when I was even, so I've gone through journeys of I'm going to, in my own journey, I'm going to have to leave this company because
Yeah.
there's no progression here.
Yeah.
I've reached the ceiling and I can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's happening a lot. And, any CEO, women, or any woman that's watching this and climbing up, do not stop. Like you will have, it's one of those things, you'll keep knocking on the door and do
Yeah.
not give up. I do believe, because where there's a will, there's a way. I had to leave the company to then get noticed and be on that
Mm.
leadership board myself, but we do get let down. And I think then it just gets to the point where they just stay in their roles and it's just so upsetting because they've got so much potential to give and
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. But on that, because I think a lot of the conversations I've had throughout this podcast is obviously, how can I have like the family life and have all the responsibilities outside of work as well as the responsibilities inside of work? And that's even more pressure when you're trying to find the harmony, find the balance and do everything. Because as women, like we're super women, right? We want to do everything. And something that when I was coming up the ranks, I was like, right, success requires sacrifice. I was like, I have to work these long hours. I have to do these things. I have to work on a weekend. And that was ingrained in me. And I think that was also just coming up through kind of sales in the era I did. That was just how, and especially in the UK and sales and recruitment, that's it. It's drilled into you that if you want success, you have to sacrifice things.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Because I think the world is changing now. I think we're now trying to have more of a harmony across our personal life and our business life. We are trying to get better with that feeling of having to do everything, but also be content and enjoy what you're doing. So I'm seeing the shift, but what do you think about, that success requires sacrifice?
You know what? I was that woman as well. Like I was like, go hard, go home.
Yeah.
I would be leaving office late, getting there. I'll be the first one in, walking, and no one will be there but me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that was like my thing. And when I did that, I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like, I'm getting
Yeah.
my work done. So it
Yeah.
wasn't the fact that I was doing it to be the first person. No, it was like I want to be ahead of the game. And then it didn't matter. Like there was times I was working at HSBC, I'd finish at midnight. And then it was just like, no, there was no leeway. And it was very much like, if you are the hardest worker, you would get more awards, you'd get noticed, you'd climb up, they would know who you are, you'd be the teacher's pet,
Yeah.
manager's pet, whatever we call it now, you'd be that. But it is changing now because I think people are starting to notice that the word well-being is something that they need to take seriously, or there will be no business.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think as well, a lot of people are starting to stand up for their well-being because I know, the good old me, it was like, well, if I was ingrained in doing that and only that, I wouldn't have known what my well-being is now, right? Whereas now,
Mm.
like I said, if I need to take rest, I will take time out of my day, me being
Yeah.
self-employed, and I would rest without feeling any guilt. So I have to train my brain to be like, it's okay, Stella, and touch my heart and my stomach and go into my nervous system, and go, it's okay.
Yeah.
Again, because
Yeah.
there's still old habits that creep up from the corporate that still make me believe I need to be working hard. Now, the irony of this, and I'm going to say this with chest, when you have your well-being in check, remember you'll be able to think clearly. You'll get more sales come to you. I
Yeah.
cannot say that enough. When I was like overwhelmed, I was in sales. All I did was sales. I loved sales. Like that was like, I loved it to
Mhm.
pieces. But sometimes you've got to let things sit on it and then come
Yeah.
back to it with fresh head and
Yeah.
then complete the sale. If
Yeah.
you're overworked or burnt out, you have no well-being in place or not have a
Yeah.
voice to say, I need a minute, you
Mm.
could mess up on an email.
Yeah.
You can message a wrong person on the email that could not be the sale to that person. You could give up wrong information. It's so easily done because we're not thinking and being
Yeah.
present what we're doing. Where there's times now I could be literally in my resting era and I would have like a message, Stella, I want to come back. I want to sign up with you. I didn't even
Yeah.
message the person.
Yeah.
Stella, when we did our work before, we was able to do this and this. I'm now evolving, got to X, Y, and Z. I need you now to do this. So what I'm saying is it's not about the chase. When it comes to
Mm.
manifestation, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to being in your well-being era, you need to start thinking about attracting. And that's what I coach a lot of now. It's like, actually, let's think about we are here already being paid to exist. Think about it. We're in
Yeah.
abundance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we need to make sure that we train. It's funny because I did content about this. The way we train, so whether it's strength training, Pilates, whatever it is, how we move our body, whatever it is, we got to think rest in that way.
Yeah.
The people that are into the gym, like me and you, we wouldn't miss a workout. So why would we miss
Yeah.
rest?
Yeah. That's good.
So I was like, wow, like we need to be thinking that it's the same thing because
Yeah.
when I rest, I get more sales coming through the door, and that's me doing
Yeah.
nothing because I've started to attract. I
Yeah.
started being in my my consciousness, my presentness, my able to speak and not feel that I don't have the words, I can't think,
Mm.
or I can't do a task, or I'm overwhelmed,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I'm coming from lack, I'm coming from frustration, because that's all an emotion. I think as well, a lot of people need to be understanding their emotion because a lot of clients now I teach is their emotion. They're big on emotion now because
Mm.
we're still not sure what emotion is.
Mhm.
Like when we get fearful, sometimes that could be correlating to excited, the same emotion, the same feeling. Do you know what I mean? But actually, when we get upset, we may think it could be that person, but actually it could be something that's happening in our home life that's made us upset.
Yeah.
But then that person said something and now we're like, that's it. I'm not going to tolerate this. And it could be at work where they've just triggered you. That trigger
Yeah.
may not have been that person that said, why you done that? It could be you've had a row with your partner at home and then you've brought it into work, but then you thought you were okay. And
Mm.
then that person said something and then you've blown the handle. But if we was able to figure that out first, as an example, we wouldn't bring that into work. So there's a lot of things with understanding your emotions, understanding what triggers you, understanding, how we're going to get over that and how you can overcome that. And that does also come with nervous system work. It also comes with the burnouts. We need to be more up here
Yeah.
towards the
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
And we attract things. We don't chase. There's been times like, oh my gosh, in the corporate, I was like, right, let's get that sale, right. Or I'd be like, my account managers, what's that saying? Have you followed
Yeah.
that? Have you done that? Have you done that? And then it's like, whoa. At the end of the day, you feel like you're this. And we need to
Mhm.
come from expansion.
Yeah.
And expansion is what gives us that attract. So it's understanding that more now. We're coming through high consciousness, we're coming through ascending. We know more about manifestation, we know more about, angel numbers. There's a
Yeah.
lot of content around that. There's a lot of like social media presence about understanding when you've got the moon phases, when
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
full moon, what to do then. There's a lot of stuff that happens not in the, what should I say, the unseen world
Yeah,
that can
yeah,
really affect the scene world that we're in, where it's like we've got to believe it to see it, when actually that's not necessarily true. That's a load of bullshit. Excuse my French. But we need to really be thinking about the attract and how we
yeah,
can do that. And that's that resting. And then also we need to really think about there's rest and then there's too much rest. Because I think a lot of people can be guilty of that, where we can just then doom scroll the rest,
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
we could have been like, maybe not have our phone and just
yeah,
do, I don't know, 20 minutes meditation, go for a walk, do a workout, come back and crack on.
yeah. Like intentional rest.
Yes,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's the word,
Yeah.
intentional rest.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like we need to do a whole new conversation just around like manifestation because I know we're big believers in it. Yeah, I think like when we used to train, it was like we just spoke about our futures and like what we're gonna do, what we're gonna achieve, and I'm like such a
And
big
girl, you're
believer in
living
that.
it. You're
Yeah, well,
living.
we're trying.
you're,
Yeah.
you're living it.
Yeah, giving it a good go, but yeah, no, we're big believers in that. So maybe we need to just do it like a whole session on manifestation because yeah, I definitely think that that has helped me, and I do agree with like the attract side of things. When I'm like in a good mood, like I'm like just in my flow, things just come to me and I love that. And then also the other thing is like when I'm going to have like a break or I know that I've got like a vacation and I start like relaxing more, things come to me again, which is great because then it means I'm really busy even on my vacation. But it's like you do attract these things when you are content and just in a position where you're happy and you're just going with the punches and not overthinking. Um
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. But I
yeah.
agree with you. I think we do need to do another one on manifestation because that's a whole nother hour.
I know. We could be here all day. We'll just do a whole day podcast. We
I
actually
know
could.
we
And we can
could.
just and we've got so many stories that we could probably talk about, which, some of them probably aren't podcasts ready. But hey ho.
Wellbeing.
Yeah, we should just avoid stuff. But no, I absolutely love this. Obviously, I love speaking to you. Your energy is just like infectious. And I know this and the amount of times like people have said it to me about you as well. So I really think what you give off, you attract back, and you are a testament to that. So I do want to wrap this up because otherwise we will be going for hours.
Hmm.
So I have a closing tradition. I've added a few more questions in there just because why not? Hey,
Yeah,
let's do it.
let's go for it.
So let's go for it. The first question is, what's your superpower at work, serious or silly, that people wouldn't necessarily know from your resume? Or not necessarily your resume, but just people wouldn't know.
My superpower, channeling.
Okay.
Yeah, channeling spirit.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
my
That's a
gift.
whole nother podcast as well.
Yeah, the circle. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is, yeah, that is definitely something that not many people know at all. Yeah, apart from
Yeah.
you, obviously.
I know that, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
it's so true, honestly, yeah. Stella is like a whole vibe. Okay, next one. What's the most unserious thing that helps you survive your serious corporate life? What did you do that just got you through the day? Was it coffee? Was it a playlist? What helped you?
Gym.
Yeah,
I'll go to the gym on lunch break, and you can ask anyone that in any corporate, they'll be like, "We find session in the gym." Gym, whether it be 5 in the morning, go in the afternoon or the evening for cardio, in the morning for weights, or flip it around depending on what I was doing. But I would have to go to the gym without fail. Gym and coffee.
yeah, oh, yeah, I'm a big coffee girl.
Like,
I actually thought about this the other day, what my thing was, because I'm like asking people, I'm like, I have always have like a song that gets me hype. There was one song that was called Fabulous, and it literally was about being fabulous. And I used to just walk around singing it like, oh, I'm fabulous.
yeah,
And it would just get me in such a good mood. So I'm like, get me on a hype playlist, get me some music, let me dance, let me sing. I'm all for it.
yeah, that's really good because that will bring in joy, which means more abundance, which means more sales. So actually, if you can keep on that high flying disc, it's more gonna come to you, and the track
Okay.
will just be there. Because my
Yeah.
tune is "Paid to Exist." I rinse it like the Spotify wrap up came up, and I listened to that over 300 times. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
Serious.
obsessed with that tune.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
for
need it.
me, it's just, it gets you going. That and Bashment.
And bashment. Yeah, that's really, positive vibes bashment is.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
Stoker.
Yeah. Okay, final thing. What is one piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Never give up. Never give up. And you will one day look back and go, I was always here to protect you and hug you and love you just as much now than you did then. But never give up. And that comes to anyone in corporate. Just never give up. Keep going.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Okay. Really appreciate you obviously having a chat with me today. And yeah, I think we've got so many more conversations to have. But yeah, I found this great. I needed this. So, appreciate it and appreciate you.
Absolutely. And I've loved it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
Thank you. Keep
course.
going. This is amazing. And
I
I'll be back
know.
soon.
Yes, you will.